Cool. We are officially live in the Facebook group. So as I pull this up here, guys, I just want to say, like, super pumped to have this special guest, one of our clients, Nicholas Dodge, here with us today in the group. So Nicholas, before we get started, man, do you want to let everybody know what the name of your company is, what exactly you do service-wise, and then who you serve?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's going on, guys? As Rob said, my name is Nicholas. I'm the founder of Funnel Geeks LLC. We crush sales funnels for our clientele, funnels and marketing campaigns. We typically service the coaching and consulting industry. So anybody that has, info products like ebooks, webinars, high ticket courses, we build funnels for them. So.
I love it. So, dude, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. Everyone's probably reading the headline, like, how the heck is that possible? Because we get so many of these types of results. But we obviously want to hear from you how it went down. So before we do, how long have you been in business, man?
Been in business for about 4.5, 5 years.
4.5, 5 years. So it's not your first rodeo.
Not our first rodeo, no.
Cool, man. So let me actually pull this up so we can ask all the right questions here for you.
Cool.
So what was the challenge? Like, it's not your first rodeo. So, like, what was the challenge you were facing before you came on board with us that, made you want to come on board with us as a client?
Yeah, dude, it's funny. I remember the day that I messaged you. I'm sure you recall it too. I literally just shot you a message. I was like, yo, man, got an agency, interested in seeing how you can help me build it or rather scale it. And so we got on a call, joined AOS that day, I think. But anyways, the hurdle we were experiencing is we had like a really solid offer. We've been doing funnels for, I would say, about 3.5, 4 years now. So it wasn't always funnels, but we had some heavy experience there. And we had some really good results too. Like, people were raving about our funnels. The challenge was getting it out to as many people as we could and getting the confidence to charge what we knew our funnels were worth. As I told you before we even hopped on here, man, which I'll share with you right now. I told you you'd probably drop dead if I told you what we charged for our very first funnel.
Crazy.
I was like a full-blown funnel. So we're talking like 5-6 pages, squeeze, sales, order form with a couple upsells and order confirmation. We charged $497 for that funnel. And at that time I was like doing backflips. I'm like, oh dude, somebody paid me $500. You kidding me? Like, it was sick at the time. But I quickly realized it was like way too much work and way too high quality for what we were charging. Not take for granted, we obviously got better, but now for that same funnel, we're charging $7,000. So it's just crazy to see the, transformation and, just the clarity and confidence we have surrounding our products and services now to the point where we can just, come on and be confident and, the numbers we're throwing out there and making sure that the product that we're delivering is at that value level.
So, dude, when it comes down to it, there's different things that people, like, the light switch flips on in our brain whenever we notice that we are able to rewire the way we look at charging more.
Mm-hmm.
So for you, man, you went from $500 with your first funnel when you started out in business to $2,500 when you met us, to now, like, you're doing $54,000 contracts. And that happened in the span of 60 days where you're able to, like, rewire the way you think to normalize $54,000. Like, very, very different sales. So what exactly was it for you working with us that helped you start to see that differently and normalize basically 12xing what you charged?
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I don't know if I could pinpoint it to one thing. It was a multitude of different things. I think the biggest, which I'm a big believer in, is just surrounding myself with other people who have, the confidence to charge what they're worth, and seeing other people, like, inside of your mastermind and, elsewhere too, obviously closing these bigger deals and packages, and ultimately thinking like, okay, there's, my quality of service is at the level of the people that are charging, the price points that are much higher than what we are. And it was just a matter of seeing that and being like, maybe it is really just as simple as asking for the number on the phone. And, once we started doing that and we got our first yes, things just started, again, like you said, rewiring, mentally for me, to the point where I realized, okay, this could easily be a normal thing that we, a normal, like, price point that we set our stuff at. And what's really interesting, man, is this. So to kind of summarize my answer to that question, I feel like once you start aligning like your mindset with, and you convince yourself and you believe that you are worth what you're charging, you attract people who are capable of paying for that level of service. So that's what's really unique to me is I feel like before your mastermind, we were attracting people who can only afford $2,000 funnels. But once we've made that shift and we got the confidence to start charging more, we started attracting people who could afford, that again, that type of service. So I feel like it was, there were a multitude of things that like factored into it, but that was the biggest for me. So,
Dude, I love that. And yeah, so just some context, guys. So Nicholas started out in our entry level program and is now in our high level mastermind, working with us for 12 months now. And man, when we started working together, your offer was amazing. It was the positioning on what do I need to do to get people to want to work with me for 12 months and commit to 12 months to not do month to month. So can you share a little bit about what that looked like and how you're able to like reposition what you do to get people excited to work with you for 12 full months?
Yeah. So before iOS, we weren't even doing retainers. So it was just set up of the funnels. And like once we built it, we just passed them off and said, go on your merry way, which was not obviously a profitable approach and a smart approach because we obviously could have done a lot more for the client. So to answer your question, I think as far as like repositioning and building out the retainer side of our business goes, I mean, it just made sense, quite honestly. Like with what we do, sure, building a funnel is great. Like, maybe we hit it on the park, we hit a home run, maybe not. Maybe it takes a little bit of fine tuning and optimizing as you send traffic. And so it just made sense to us to kind of like position that in a way where we're like, okay, great. You have this funnel. What's the next steps? Like obviously having a funnel in your hands is not end game. Like you got to promote it, you got to optimize it, you got to scale it, and that's what's going to lead you a sustainable and profitable business. And so it was all I don't even know how to answer this without making it sound like foo-foo. It was almost like just an awakening where we're like holy shit, we have this skill and this service that we could offer that we just aren't offering. It just makes so much logical sense to just go out there and say, this is what we do, let's start doing it. And so it took, I would say, about a month to like really refine exactly what was in the offer and position it in a way to where it made sense to the client. But once we did, obviously we landed our first, I think it was 24,000 retainer based client, I think about 2 months in. And then a month or so after that, we hit a $54,000 12-month contract. So I guess the answer is kind of the same as how it was for the build out, just getting the clarity and confidence to, say, okay, this makes sense to offer. So let's offer it. And then, get to the point where we're, confident enough to charge more for that level of service. I don't know if that makes sense. Let me know if I need to elaborate, but it was just there. It was like right in front of me and I just couldn't believe I didn't see it sooner. So.
Yeah, I'd love to add to that too, because since, working closely with you in the offer piece, things like that. And by the way, guys, if you're watching this, we'll get into the appointments piece and how Nicholas is able to double the amount of meetings that he has per month in such a short amount of time as well. But in the terms of your offer, what I was most impressed with is how well you transitioned from taking everything you had and then offering less and selling it for 12 times more. That's what was like, it's so impressive with what I saw you do here. And, I love seeing our clients do that. It's really about offering less, positioning the value better to literally 10x or more the sale. So how did you feel about that whenever we were talking about it? You're like, Rob, how should we like restructure this? And I was like, do less. You don't need to do all that. Like, how did you feel about that when I said that to you?
Dude, I was freaking scared, man. I was like, I was so scared. I'm like, dude, I'm already, I've stacked the value. Like this offer is so sexy. And now you want me offering less and charging more. Like I was scared, to be honest. I was like, this guy's out of his mind. But it worked, man. So I was definitely scared at first, but I'm a big believer in just following a proven system. And so I took your advice, even though I didn't, this is bad to say, but I didn't believe it at first. I was like, okay, what the hell is he telling me to do? But again, I'm a big believer in following systems. Don't fix what isn't broken. So I just, went forward and did it. And you were right. So yeah, I was definitely scared at first, but now I couldn't be more grateful. So.
Yeah, super stoked for you, man. So for everybody watching, what were the specific tactics, strategies, whatever else that you used to also be able, because now we've gone over offer and structuring contracts. What was it that you used, tactic wise, strategy, or whatever, to double your appointments per month alongside increasing your contracts
Mm-hmm.
while subtracting your service in
Mm-hmm.
just 60 days? What did you do?
Mm-hmm. It was definitely a matter of framing. I mean, all the way down to outreach. So we're blessed, and Frank on your team gives me crap all the time with the amount of inbound leads we get. It's absurd. Of people that are like just hitting us up asking like, hey, you obviously do funnels, can you help me? We never had like a proven um system, I guess to say, to follow to get that inbound lead to get on the phone with us, to get them to show up for that appointment, and then to get them to obviously close on the phone. um, I wouldn't say it was all broken, but it all obviously needed to be improved. Like from the outreach to the closed deal, it all needed to be improved. So forgive me, what was the question as far as like, was it specifically what we refined in that process to where it got us to charging more and landing more deals, or what was that?
Well, this one just for the appointments, like what tactics or
Just for the
strategies
appointment.
you use? Yeah.
Yeah, so strategies we used, man, I mean, I would say that it was just a matter of following the scripts that are inside of your program, quite honestly. We used to just go out there and kind of be like, somebody would hit us up, they'd be like, hey, we need a funnel. I'd be like, okay, cool, here's my calendar. There would be no like communication, there'd be no interaction. And as you probably can guess, we didn't have nearly as many booked appointments. It would just be, they'd ghost us. They'd be like, oh, maybe, for whatever reason, they got cold feet as soon as I sent that calendar out. And they were just like, yeah, maybe this just isn't for me, or whatever that was. Right. So actually having a, authentic conversation with the, clients that we were reaching out to, in addition to the clients that were reaching out to us, and just learning a little bit more about their situation, finding out exactly what they were looking for, expectations, or not even expectations, I would say. So what they were looking for in regards to the funnel they wanted built, and then ultimately giving them clarity as far as if they didn't understand exactly how the process or funnel was going to look, kind of sharing with them based off our experience what we think would be the best approach, and giving pretty much what we lost sight of, giving value before asking for the sale. That's what made all the difference, I think. So originally, to summarize that thought, we were just sending out the calendars. Essentially, that's our version of the sale, even though we're not asking for payment. We're asking them to take their time to book an appointment with us without giving them any value. That's what was resulting in essentially a lot of people ghosting us, not resulting in booked appointments. And then once we refined that sort of, we added the value aspect to our interaction. That's where we started seeing, people who would actually, funnily enough, not even hit me up. They would just book appointments on my calendar. They'd go through our funnel. I mean, it's hard to summarize, quite honestly. It's really hard to summarize all that we did because it was so much, but it was all super valuable. And I think that just having an authentic conversation was the biggest piece. So.
Yeah, and what I love about this, and for everybody watching this, some stuff I want you to pick up on if you're trying to find like specifics as to how, would this work for you, this process. And Nicholas already had a lot of inbound leads. Like he's said that a couple times now, like because he has an amazing quality service. But the thing is, Nicholas has a level of leadership and understands that there are still blind spots.
Mm-hmm.
So even though he had lead flow coming in from inbound, it wasn't what he defined as predictable.
Mm-hmm.
So it was enough for Nicholas to be able to say, like, how do we make this predictable before, God forbid, the referral flow, like the referrals dried up.
Exactly.
So that's what takes a leader, guys. It takes a lot to be able to have that acknowledgement, to be able to say, you know what, I need to create more predictability. Referrals aren't going to be enough. What do I need to do to create that predictability? That's a big leader move, bro, to see that blind spot.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And you hit the nail on the head, bro. It was literally that. Like, it was great that we were getting referrals, but at the end of the day, that was like our only stream of business. Like I was waiting before joining OS, I was waiting for the next referral, quite honestly. And if it didn't come in, fuck, we're not getting a sale. Like we're just not, sure we were getting recommended in like the groups we're in, and, people would hit us up every, here and there. But it was scary, quite honestly, like just having to be reliant upon other people sending me business. That's what was the scary part.
So was it crazy to be able to see you were able to do this without running ads or being active on social media? Because you haven't really been active for a few months since starting with us. So what was that experience like for you?
It was so eye-opening, man. And I told you, like, people have literally hit me up because I come from a coaching aspect, where I would show up and I would do lives. I would post on Facebook, like sometimes 3-4 times a day. And this would go on for, well over a couple years. And all of a sudden it just stopped, right? Because it's funny. I think the day that I stopped posting is the day I messaged you about scaling my agency. But people would literally hit me up and they'd be like, dude, like, I can't believe you're alive. Like, you haven't been posting. Like, I thought you were dead. And I'm like, no, I'm not dead. I'm just, scaling, just kind of working behind the scenes, scaling the agency. I had to bite the bullet and decide, because I was trying to scale both. I was trying to scale my courses and trying to scale the agency at the same time. And realized that my attention being split up amongst both these things wasn't resulting in success in either of them. So seeing that, because posting, I'm not sure if like the people that are watching this right now, if they're familiar with, being sort of in the coaching space. I'm sure some of them are. So they can probably relate to posting a lot. It's time consuming. It's stressful trying to think of ideas to post. It's just a lot to, manage by yourself. And so it was hard. It resulted in a lot of burnout, to the point where it would be, weeks and I wouldn't even touch my business. I would just be so like emotionally and just energy drained. And so seeing that, like, we've been able to, for lack of a better term, more than 10x our business, hashtag Grant Cardone there. But anyways, like, seeing that we've been able to more than 10x our business and not, now take this with a grain of salt, like, we're still showing up, just not in like the public setting. Like, we're still showing up for clients, just being able to see that and ultimately take so much off our plate while bringing in so much more business has been so enlightening. So
Killer, man. Such a great example. And you're right. It is very different being in a service-based industry versus coaching. And just so you guys, like, to reiterate what Nick said, it's not that he doesn't show up, right? He still shows up. It's not that he doesn't see value in building a brand. He just understands at the season he's at in business, this makes the most sense in terms of cash flow and building. So just to make sure that people could understand the context there, so nothing's like taken out of context. Dude, this is killer, man. Super proud of you, dude. Just watch you move so fast and literally just like applying things even beyond your disbelief of what you believe wouldn't work. I know you felt kind of similar whenever you saw Frank's messaging and like how simple the messaging is. It's almost like it shouldn't work.
Stupid.
Yeah, and it's pretty normal response how, like, when we talk about subtracting from a service and charging more, charging on contracts, doing less in Messenger, it almost seems too simple that it wouldn't work, but you did a great job applying it against your belief from what you learned, because I know the industry is teaching to do more, right? Which doesn't necessarily always work, hardly ever. So proud of you, dude. Who would you recommend to the sales agency to work with us?
Yeah, dude, I was thinking about this question a lot. I mean, honestly, if you have a product or service that you believe in, if you have something that you, excuse me, there it goes again, dude. I always tell you, I'll lose my voice mid-sentence. But anyways, if you have a product or service you believe in, if you want to get your message and what you have out to, the audience that it can impact, then, I mean, for lack of refining that down to a specific niche, it's literally just anybody who's selling a higher ticket product or service. Quite honestly, like, if you're doing sales calls, whether it be a course, whether it be a service, like done for you service, doesn't matter. If you're getting on the phone and closing deals, you should be in AOS, quite honestly. So,
dude, I love that, man. I appreciate you. And where can people find you, man? Because your funnels are, guys, like, this is another great example of, it's not a matter of what you're doing, it's a matter of how you're doing it. Nicholas's funnels and like what he does for clients, because it's a full spectrum. It's not just a funnel. It would take us a whole nother interview just to describe like what that means. So if you guys are looking to have a funnel done for you, where can people find you, Nicholas?
Yeah, absolutely. So although I'm not dead, I am active on Facebook behind the scenes. So you can hit me up on Facebook or just funnelgeeks.com. It's Funnel Geeks with a Z. That's where you can get in contact with us.
Boom, rocking, man. Looks like Chatty just dropped it. If you guys are watching this on Facebook Live, Chatty's dropped in the comments there. Awesome, man. We'll appreciate you taking time out of your day to do this, man. And guys, go hit up Nicholas if you need anything done. Super proud of you, man. Pumped to be able to work alongside you in this.
I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for having me. Nothing but love for you and the team.
Appreciate you, dude.